The story right now behind the Cleveland Cavaliers is so interesting. I had to go into my closet to record this video so I don't wake up the entire household. I don't think I've ever seen... Should I get the clothes out of the way of the camera? Like I was saying, I don't think I've ever seen a fan base so distraught and so upset at their team, even though they're the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. It is understanding, though, as to why the team and why the fans aren't really that excited for their team right now, and it's because I think everyone knows what's bound to happen. Because even though the core looks great, at least to myself, an outsider perspective and not a fan of the team itself, Donovan Mitchell, though, has always been a problem for this team. But not a problem like Ben Simmons in Philadelphia or James Harden in most of the situations he's in. No, Donovan Mitchell has been very professional. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me give you a little bit of background. When the Utah Jazz were blowing things up and Donovan Mitchell was, kind of saying where he wanted to go, where a lot of people were talking about where he was expected to go, everyone was saying he was going to the New York Knicks. And I think a lot of people thought that he was going to be the one to take the Knicks to be the next best team or kind of start the next Knicks era. Now, later on, with hindsight, we see that that was Jalen Brunson. These shirts are pissing me off right now. But yeah, point is, a lot of people thought that it was going to be Donovan Mitchell. Well, it turns out he gets traded to old snowy Cleveland. And this is where things were really different, because even though he didn't say how much he wanted to be in Cleveland, like I'm sure he did just for the cameras, he never really said that that was a team he wanted to go to or be a part of. But thank God for Cavaliers fans, they found a picture of Donovan Mitchell wearing a Cavs jersey as a kid, and that was all they needed to see and read and hear to think to themselves that Donovan Mitchell wanted to stay in Cleveland. And even I thought he was super happy and wanted to be in Cleveland, because throughout the 2 years of him being in Cleveland, you still had people saying how, oh, he's secretly unhappy, he secretly wants to be in New York, but he seemed like he was doing great. I mean, the team was perfect. While editing this, I realized the word perfect is the worst word to use for their situation, so please ignore that I said that, but they were still a good team is what I'm trying to say. They were a top seed in the Eastern Conference. Now, they weren't perfect come postseason where they lose to the New York Knicks, but overall, it felt like it was a situation where you can't really be upset. It was a young team, a growing team, and a bright future. But recently, we have heard something different from Donovan Mitchell, something that I think a lot of Knicks fans and other big media outlets have been waiting to hear from him. And it was basically him saying, well, hey, if the Cavaliers don't make the NBA Finals, I think I might have to reevaluate my options and go elsewhere. And we can stop cutting the bullshit here, because we know that the Cavaliers are not going to make the NBA Finals. It's obviously going to be the Bucks versus Timberwolves. Have you not seen my last video? No, but in all seriousness, this has Cavaliers fans worrying for the worst, because let's also not forget that Donovan Mitchell hasn't been playing his best basketball since the All-Star break. I know he has suffered from some injuries, but he's not the guy that we saw earlier on in the year that was honestly looking like MVP quality talent. So let's say the Cavaliers decide to just let Donovan Mitchell walk. They don't trade him, they just let him walk in free agency. What does that look like for the Cavaliers? Well, to you might think, okay, well, there's other guys who are willing to step up and take his role, and maybe that'll actually be better for them. Maybe they'll find a rising type of star, or someone who's kind of in a Tyrese Maxey situation where it's like 1 year before he had James Harden in front of him, so it was kind of holding back his development, and then as soon as James Harden left, Tyrese Maxey came in and was kind of the god. Like, that might be the same situation we see right here for Donovan Mitchell. Or sorry, not Donovan Mitchell, whoever it is to come up after him, kind of like that next man up mentality. So the Cavaliers might be fine, or they might drop to be a play-in team without Donovan Mitchell's efforts. But what would it look like for the New York Knicks if they were to get Donovan Mitchell? Because that is obviously going to be the biggest market for him to land in. Well, Donovan Mitchell could be the guy to actually push this team over the edge. We know that their defense is great when OG and Randall come back healthy. Hope they feel better soon. I just realized I could just push these clothes back in the closet and they don't have to hang in front of me anymore. Yeah, like I was saying, we know how good the New York Knicks are with OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, their entire team that's healthy, but adding Donovan Mitchell to that mix genuinely scares me. That is actually a championship contending team in New York, and they're really close to championship contention right now, so this might push them over the edge of championship contention. I can't remember if I said it earlier, but their defense is obviously spectacular, and adding Donovan Mitchell's offensive game and ability to really enjoy the environment and be in the city, be on the team that he wants to be a part of, is going to be scary and will be special, and I would love to see it. I love seeing the New York Knicks succeed. But you know what? I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about the Knicks, because everyone's going to be talking about the Knicks. You have every single big reporter, every big news outlet saying now that Donovan Mitchell is wanting out of Cleveland, the Knicks is where he's going to go. Well, you know what? Although there's a ton of teams that he could go to, the one team that I genuinely think could be the scariest team for him to be on, and a team that could run the league for generations, is the San Antonio Spurs. When looking up other teams he could go to, I saw the 76ers, I saw the Miami Heat, I saw all this other shit, and no one was mentioning the Spurs. I don't know if that's because the Spurs have already been eyeing Trae Young, and I'll get to that here in a second, but Donovan Mitchell kind of seems like the perfect fit for this team as well. Once again, he's an amazing scorer. He's also a little bit older than most of the guys on that team. He has the experience, the playoff runs, and has been through hardships, and a lot of this Spurs team hasn't been there. They're still fresh out of high school, which is where I'm actually going to bring Trae Young into this, because I feel like if you're the Spurs GM and you have to choose between Donovan Mitchell or Trae Young, the main look on that decision is, are you going to pick a guy who is 25 years old or a guy who is 27 years old? And although a 2-year difference might not sound that crazy, when you're building around Victor Wembanyama where every year counts, it might be kind of important to take the younger guy, and maybe you see higher upside with Trae Young. I don't know. I feel like Donovan Mitchell would be a very interesting piece to put next to Victor. Maybe you like the safety of having Trae Young next to him, but genuinely, I think the Spurs have a case and a reason to go for Donovan Mitchell, or at least put their number or their name in the conversation. I really do hope you Cavs fans out there feel better soon and understand that it's not going to be terrible. You are still probably going to have, hopefully, a decent playoff run. I mean, you're not going to make the finals, but you're probably not going to get eliminated in the first round before. I think you guys are going up against, let's see, the Indiana Pacers in the first round. Listen, I love the Pacers. I love Tyrese, but come on, Cavs fans. You guys are cooking the shit out of the Pacers. Let's be real here. So, hey, Cavs fans, it might not be that bad. I'd say just enjoy the moment right now. Enjoy your fun, small, short-lived era with Donovan Mitchell. Your 2-year era will never be forgotten. One embarrassing playoff loss, and, well, I think a 70-point game is in there somewhere. That being said, I've talked about the playoffs a lot in this video, and if you want to actually hear my playoff predictions, go ahead and click the video up on the screen right now, because I guarantee you will get very mad watching it. And yeah, the comments were definitely cooking my shit for that video, so maybe don't go check that out. Anyways, I gotta get out of this closet. It is too hot. It's also too late at night. I have to go to bed. So I love you guys. I will see you guys all in the next one. Be sure to like and subscribe as well, as it helps push the video in the algorithm. Later.